Hey party people, and welcome to what is going to be my largest LEGO City update of the year. And I'm saying that because this is my only LEGO City update of the year so far. I do have big plans, but before we get into what's happening with the city, what all of these plans are, what we're going to be doing today, I figured I would take about 20 seconds to address some of these comments to let you know where I've been and why that place wasn't in the city. Coming into 2024, one of the main things I wanted to do this year was attend more conventions, which I did. I think I did like 10 conventions this year, which is honestly kind of nuts, but I don't regret it. I had the best time. You get to see all of your friends, you're super inspired by all these builds. But if you think about 10 conventions, that means 10 different weekends that you're away from home, and obviously you can't be in the LEGO City working on things if you're not home. But then something else that I really wanted to prioritize this year was our honeymoon. Ross and I got married in 2020. That's the worst time to pretty much do anything. So obviously we weren't able to travel. We basically eloped. But for the last 5 weeks, we went through Europe. It was by far the most incredible trip I've ever been on. But obviously, same kind of thing as conventions. If I'm not home, I can't build. And that's kind of how we got to November without a LEGO City update. I'm not proud of it, but here we are. Now, that being said, when we were in Europe, we obviously saw a lot of old buildings and we took transit. They have a lot of trains and streetcars, and the architecture is just beautiful. We were just so inspired by literally every part of it. And so coming back home and coming back to the LEGO City, seeing all of these roads, for example, and seeing a lack of trains, we were kind of like, what's going on in here? This isn't that great. We should probably change things up. And so now welcome class to
6.5 hours later.
The plan. The first thing we're going to do is the easiest thing of all, and that's get rid of any LEGO sets in here that shouldn't be here. Over the last 10 months, some of my LEGO sets have somehow found their way into the LEGO City. I don't know how it happened. Crazy how they have a mind of their own. So the first step is to bag up any sets that don't currently have a home in the LEGO City. Step 2, I'm not really too big of a fan of how the layout is in the LEGO City right now. We have this wooden section that comes all the way to the front, and honestly, in my head when we did it, I thought it would go differently. So now that everything's moved away, we're gonna move the wooden risers around a little bit and play with it and try to connect both sides of the city. Because right now there's nature and then there's downtown, and I would very much like for these two worlds to be the same world. Right now they're not. All right, step 3, roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Doc Brown says it better. But like I was saying with Europe earlier, Ross and I were really inspired by all of the transit. In Europe, yeah, they have roads obviously, but the roads are so much different. It's like more of a cobblestone thing. And then there's also all of these trams going through. But I just thought that that was so efficient and fun. And so I would love to have something like that in my city. So therefore, we're kind of getting rid of the roads. Not fully though, because I still do want some sort of highway kind of thing going through, mainly because I love all of my LEGO cars and I need a road for my cars. And while we're looking at downtown, there's a whole open area right in the middle, and I had plans for that. Honestly, I was gonna do like a Jonas Brothers concert, and then I didn't. Now there's just a crane there to signify that change is coming, but I think it's just kind of silly. So we're gonna get rid of that. Modulars will be back to back rather than a giant circle kind of thing going on. And the whole downtown switcheroo is probably the part that I am most excited to do. Here's what we've just done in here. This whole back area is finally clean. I can add stuff here. It's not a mess. I don't have storage in my city. I have a city, and I'm really happy about it. I put all of the sets that were here into bags, kind of in an organized way. I did my best with it. Some of it was just kind of random stuff. But then on the wooden planks, there was a whole train going through there. There were lots of base plates, and it wasn't too crazy to deal with, but it had to be done. And I also had to get rid of the Disney Castle, which was so stressful. But now that everything is cleared out of the way for the most part, it's time to start moving the wooden platforms around. They're honestly quite flimsy, so I'm a little bit worried about just the wood itself breaking. But so far they're holding up okay. And honestly, y'all, I haven't actually measured anything before moving this stuff around, but I'm just going on vibes. The vibes feel right. That's how we do things here in Ladybird. We do things based on vibes. So far, things are looking okay. I do need to dust back here because there's a lot of sawdust. I didn't even realize that until right now. This is so filthy. This part still needs to be moved back, and there's some things attached to it that I'll probably have to mess with a little bit. But actually, now that I'm looking at it, it doesn't seem like there is much connected to it at all. So it should be pretty easy. Now that the wooden platforms are roughly where I want them to be, we're going to forget about that for a little bit because it's time to start on downtown Ladyburg. I grabbed my husband Ross to help me with this, and we started with putting all the vehicles in bags for now just to keep everything together. Now for the road plates. Some of the plates are held together with Technic pins, but many aren't, so it's not too difficult to separate things and move things around. We're taking all of the roads and stacking them in the other room out of the way. I think I'll only be using half of these at most for a highway idea that I have, so I'll probably end up parting out a lot of these back into my collection. Now for the modular layout. First, I want to get the spacing right, so we're laying down half base plates along the front edge of the table and then moving modulars in to close the space. I'm not too concerned about which modulars are placed where. That can come later. I'm really just trying to figure out how to place all of my modular sets here in a way that works well and leaves space for a streetcar to potentially go through. I'm doing 2 rows of modulars, which is similar to what I had before, just the spacing here is going to be a little different. I have a handful of the large marble sets and they're all so cool and some of my favorites in the city, but I'm waiting until all of the modulars have a home before thinking about where the marble sets will go. I want them to all be placed near each other, and I think the back area of downtown would work best, but let's wait and see. I said earlier that I wasn't really thinking too much about modular placement, but I lied. I was trying to be a little bit smart with it, actually. The Natural History Museum is a 1.5 base plate modular, so I'm trying to keep things balanced maybe by having the 1.5 base plate gardens right behind it, and Assembly Square, which is another 1.5 base plate modular, across from it. The marble sets do look alright in the back for now, so there they will stay. I just built the X Mansion that just came out, and I'm laying down base plates here so I remember to account for it once I do add it into the city. We also may or may not have Town Hall and Green Grocer hiding under the Lego City somewhere, so we're laying base plates as spacers for those sets for whenever we do decide to add them as well. I hope you enjoyed all those fun, fancy camera angles. It took forever to do, so please like this video. Anyways, let me show you what we have in downtown. I'm really excited. Starting over with the nature area, pretty much everything is the same. There's obviously still a little bit of clutter in the front, but this was not my focus for the video at all. Looking back here, we did move back this giant wooden slab. There's a lot more work to do here, especially with this wall and the greenery. I think I need to cut down this hill because I don't know if you can tell that well on camera, but it's quite steep. I might need to adjust that a little bit and then kind of plan out what the nature will look like in this giant gap that we just created. And then I won't spend too much time on the train layout over here because we're going to talk a little bit more about trains in like 45 seconds, but I do kind of like this layout. I just need to play around with it a little bit more, and especially once we have more nature over here. I don't even know if this wall right in the front here will exist, or at least it won't exist where it is right now. And then same on the other side, these wooden risers, I like them, but I don't know if I need both of them. I feel like it takes up so much space and I don't know what to do with this space. I would like to do some sort of snowy mountain kind of thing, but I do like that it gives room for tunnels underneath, and I could have the train kind of going through all the way underneath here through to the other side. That could be really exciting and really fun. I don't really have something like that yet, and I never have, so I would love to have something a little bit different. That would be really cool. And another reason I'm saying that the risers might be taking up a little bit too much room is because of downtown. So let's look at downtown. I'm actually so happy with where it's at. It's kind of a mess right now, but I just wanted to show you some things that we're trying out right now. I mentioned having maybe some trains going through, and that's what we've set up here. We have these little 4-wide tracks that we've been playing with. It's a really weird system. So Lego has apparently never made straight 4-wide tracks, which is kind of a shame. So we had to figure out how to make our own. So we use these like ridged pieces. You can kind of hear that. They're ridged on the top. To connect them to these rounded tracks, we had to do this like really weird thing. And apparently this is the legal way to do it. It's a 1x2 plate with 2 little clippy dudes on top and then a tile. And you can just stick it there and it actually kind of works, which I didn't think it would. Yesterday, Ross and I were barbecuing and he built these little tiny trains. Let me grab the box. Here we go. We bought 2 of these kind of recently and it comes with 2 cars. If you want to complete the whole train, you need 2. So we haven't built this one yet. We built one of them and you can see part 1 there and car 2 there. And this is a good example of a 4-wide set. Now looking at this one here, this is how it comes originally, but we did have to modify it on the bottom because otherwise it wouldn't like go around the corners. There's no sort of way for this to handle any sort of of rounded tracks, unfortunately. So we added on these little spinny parts on either side just to modify it slightly so that it can actually go around these edges. So look at that, that's so smooth. And surprising enough, it actually does go over this little section very smoothly, very easily. You will hear that little click, but that's nothing to really be concerned about, thank goodness. And so even though this is a prototype for now, I am very optimistic. I think it's definitely going to work. I don't know, maybe, we'll see. But the map I want to take it is kind of through here, go all the way around, maybe have it stop, because I like doing the color-coded things. You can program it to make a stop and then like reverse. We're gonna motorize it and all of that and program it, and it's gonna be really cool. So maybe just have it stop there. It'll reverse, go around, and then through downtown. I was kind of playing with the idea of having it go through here in this little gap and making that like a tram stop. That could be kind of neat. Put a little tiny modular in here, fill in the space, make it look good. Because another option is to just have it kind of go straight, stop, and then reverse. I don't think that there's a wrong answer. I'm just trying to think about what would be coolest, honestly. And as you can tell from this stuff here, we have already started playing with motors. This part is just a little bit too light, and trains are also so tiny. Like, look at that. It doesn't even hold a minifigure. It doesn't make any sense. So we need to upscale this and just make it probably 2 or 3 times taller to make it kind of in scale with the rest of the city. And then also find a way to hook this up to it. I don't think it'll be that hard. We just haven't looked into it too much yet. But then looking at kind of how to decorate these roads, because obviously this is ugly. Like, it's not gonna stay like that. That would be bad. We're not doing that here. We are stepping it up. And so we started kind of playing around with the idea of a cobblestone thing, because we don't want roads, and road plates wouldn't even fit in here. You know what I mean? So I kind of like this kind of cobblestone effect. I like the gray color, but we don't have that many ingots, unfortunately. But we do have a lot in tan, and we're kind of going back and forth. Like, do we want to do tan? Do we want to do this gray kind of mixture with dark bluish gray and light bluish gray? Because I'm just not sure. I feel like this is more neutral. It kind of blends in more. This one stands out more. Obviously, this is as far as we've gotten with any sort of cobblestone effect. So please let me know in the comments, like, which one do you think looks better? I think I'm leaning towards the gray, but I don't know. I need help. So let me know what you think. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this first LEGO City update of many. There is a lot more to come, and I'm really looking forward to it. If you have any comments, ideas, suggestions on anything that we've done in this video, please let me know down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with everything, and I'll see you soon. Bye.